Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're your shortcut to getting really well informed. Today, we're jumping into Adamawa State in Nigeria, specifically looking at how this tool, Gemini Storybook, might unlock some of its hidden potential.
Yeah, Adamawa is fascinating. It's not just, another region. It's got this incredible agricultural heartland, huge in livestock too, and a really resilient culture, especially considering some of the challenges they've faced. There's a real drive there.
That context is so important, the economy and the culture. So our mission today is basically to explore how Storybook, this specific tool, is kind of tailored for Adamawa, how it can help accelerate growth by tackling local business needs and playing to the state's strengths. It's a fresh way to understand the place.
Exactly. And if you look at the basics, agriculture is king there. You've got cotton, groundnuts, millet, big crops. Plus, something like, 1.5 million cattle? The Mubi International Cattle Market alone is massive, drawing traders from all over West Africa. And people might not know this, it's home to a UNESCO World Heritage Site, the Sukur Cultural Landscape, famous for ancient iron smelting. Pretty amazing.
Wow, that scale is really something. But like a lot of places, they've got hurdles, right? Things like gaps in digital literacy, maybe limited access to finance, and infrastructure issues. Getting produce from A to B can be tough. And a key thing, I think, is that a lot of their farm output is sold raw. That really limits the revenue potential.
It does, big time.
So with all that in mind, how does Storybook actually, cut through some of these barriers? What makes it different?
Well, that's the interesting part. It's about taking Storybook's flexibility and applying it directly. So for marketing, forget just listing products. Think dynamic visual stories like farm to table, but actually shown. A farmer could visually track a yam from their field in, say, Newman right to a market stall in Yola. Or a breeder could tell the story of the Adamawa Gudali cattle breed, show what makes it unique. Authenticity sells.
Okay, so visual narratives. But how does that genuinely attract better buyers? Does it really build more trust or value compared to, the usual methods?
Yeah, I think it does. The powers and the transparency, the realness of it. You're not just seeing the product, you're seeing its journey, its heritage. That resonates, especially with buyers looking for quality and, origin. And think about customer engagement. A farmer could create simple, picture-based guides on, say, sustainable pest control. Easy to share with other farmers.
Even if they're not strong readers.
Exactly. Visuals are universal. They can grasp it instantly.
And what about for, internal stuff? Farmer cooperatives, for example. How could Storybook offer something new there?
Okay, good point. Cooperatives could use it to visually explain membership benefits. Or even basic financial literacy concepts, like simple bookkeeping. Especially for entrepreneurs who maybe haven't had much formal education, it makes complex info less intimidating, spreads knowledge. But the really exciting bit, I think, is unlocking that hidden potential you mentioned, like the Sukur Cultural Landscape.
Right, the UNESCO site. That feels like a game changer. What kind of digital stories could come out of that?
Oh, loads. Imagine immersive storybooks about its history, the old iron smelting techniques. You could even do virtual tours. That doesn't just pull in tourists who visit in person. It creates new income streams, digital content licensing, reaching a global audience. And you can extend that to agritourism, virtual trips through cotton farms, cattle ranches, highlighting local festivals. It diversifies the rural economy, brings the world to Adamawa digitally.
And going back to that big challenge selling raw materials, how can Storybook help boost local value addition, make more money, stay in Adamawa?
It could visually map out the whole supply chain, show investors really clearly the benefits of setting up local meat processing or dairy production, make the case visually for creating jobs right there. Or think culturally documenting local folktales, proverbs in languages like Fulfulde or Mumuye, preserving heritage for younger generations using engaging visuals. That's powerful too.
Even cross-border trade, that's vital for Adamawa's location. Is there a Storybook angle there?
Absolutely. Simple visual storybooks explaining, say, complicated trade rules or customs procedures, that could really smooth things out for traders, reduce mistakes, maybe even become a service offered by local trade groups, simplify the bureaucracy.
Okay, so pulling all these threads together, what's the sort of core impact we're seeing from Gemini Storybook for Adamawa State?
It's really an enabler, It gives Adamawa the tools to amplify its own products, its own stories. It helps bridge those digital gaps we talked about, boosts tourism and culture in new ways, and really drives value addition locally.
So bottom line, it's not just about dropping in new tech. It's more about empowering the entrepreneurs, the communities in Adamawa, helping them tell their authentic stories, build a stronger, more visible future on their own terms. Right. So thinking about everything we've discussed with Adamawa, maybe it's worth considering. What authentic story could you tell about your own community, maybe your work or a cause you care about, using this kind of digital narrative power? Just something to think about. That's it for this deep dive.